I've had a lot of people asking me about my pepper jelly or pepper jam, wanting to know if you can buy it anywhere. Well, I'm sure you can buy it somewhere online. I don't know because I've never bought it. I've always made mine. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make some pepper jelly or pepper jam. I'm going to go ahead and wash these a little bit. Now you're going to need about 4 to 5 cups of chopped peppers. And I've got a mixture. I've got a couple of bell pepper. I've got Hungarian hot peppers here. I've got jalapenos. You can mix them all up. It doesn't matter. Now what I'm going to do, the tops off of them, because we don't want the stems. You can cut them in half a little bit if it's big ones. The little ones, all I'm going to do is cut off the stems, put the whole pepper in there. Now these are hot, so you may want to wear gloves cutting them. Now you're in control of how hot your pepper jelly is. You can, ooh, that's hot. You can use all jalapenos, which would make your pepper jelly really hot. You can mix it with banana peppers, jalapenos, mild sweet bell peppers, and control the heat of your pepper jelly. So that's totally up to you. I've just got a mixture of bell pepper, Hungarian hot peppers, jalapenos. I've got a few other hot peppers mixed in there with them that I don't even know the name of because they came up voluntarily this year. And you can put seeds and all in there. That's totally up to you. Had a bad place on it, so I just cut that out. Whoop. Now I'm going to do a little batch of them at a time until I get them all done. Finally got that big piece of one down in there. Now, I might could have gotten them all in there at one time. I don't know. But now I'm just going to, I think I better take the top off because I don't want to drop it and break it. It'll still take your breath when you breathe it. But just finely chop it up like you would if you were making relish or something. Now we're going to do their next batch. I've got jars in my canner. I need to turn them down a little bit because they're sterilized. I just need to take them out and let them cool off a little bit, but I'll do that in a minute. Gotta go ahead and finish these. Yeah, I bought a couple of jalapenos because my jalapenos didn't do anything this year. But my Hungarian hot peppers and a few of the other ones did. And like I said, you can put habanero, chili peppers, all jalapenos, just whatever you want in your pepper jelly. It's supposed to be hot. The ingredients, I mean the recipe was intended for jalapenos. But you can mix up your peppers. They don't all have to be the same kind. And I tried to get orange and red and green, 2 different color greens, the light green, the dark green. Because I figured that was it would look pretty in the jar. But these are hot. I can cut a piece off. Woo! Stick it to my tongue and it burns, I tell you. Woo, that's a little chili pepper right there. My tongue's burning, y'all. They look harmless, but they're hot. So let me go ahead and get these finished. Don't have too many more in here. I think I can get them all in there. But if you don't grow peppers in your yard like I do, jalapeno peppers are not that expensive. And you could buy a pound of jalapenos for $1.50, something like that. And make you some pepper jelly. If you can get hot peppers in your area, I don't know where you live, but most grocery stores will have some type of hot pepper. Sorry, I got a call. I'm breathing the fumes of these peppers and they're not being nice to me. But I love this jelly. I mean, and I had never made any until my brother said he had just got through making some, that he made some every year or whenever he had the peppers. And I said, well, give me your recipe. And it was so easy. And it's so good. I know my hands are going to be burning up. I don't need to touch my face or my eyes after this. I should have put gloves on. A lot of the pepper jelly I made last year was barely even warm. It was not hot at all. And I know I put jalapeno peppers in there. I put jalapenos, Hungarian hot peppers, a little bit of every hot pepper I had in the garden. And I also added bell pepper, which is not hot at all. But it came out to be a real mild pepper jelly, which was really good. See if I can go ahead and get these cut. Get the stems cut off of them anyway. But you need your saucepan or a pot to cook this in. You'll need around 6 or so small jars, like 8-ounce jars. That's the okra right there. I don't want okra in my pepper jelly. Woo, there's a heat coming out of there, I tell you. You may have to wear a mask doing this. That's probably what I should have on, is a mask. I don't know if it would do any good. But I picked all the hot peppers I had in the garden. And then I added a few bell pepper. And like I said, I tried to pick a red one, a yellow one, a gold one, a green one, just to make it pretty and interesting. Hopefully it'll be pretty. Not a good pepper. And my Hungarian hot peppers were volunteers this year. I didn't even have to plant them. I had volunteer plants come up in the pots where I had them planted last year. So I just let them grow. And they produced me these peppers. Now that can go in the compost. I think what peppers I got will make about 5 or 6 cups of chopped peppers. Oh, woo. The heat coming out of there. Maybe that'll be chopped good enough. Isn't that a pretty looking color down in there? Green, red, orange, yellow. But you just want to kind of finely chop them. And I always keep a few extra jars on hand just in case I need more than what the recipe says. It doesn't hurt to have a few extra because, you know, if you don't use it. Now, you can use white vinegar or you can use the apple cider vinegar. I'm using apple cider vinegar in mine. I prefer to use it if I have it in my pickle relish and my jams and stuff like this. But you need 1 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, so that's 1 cup. Measure out another 1/4 of a cup. You'll need 1/4 cup of lime juice. You'll need a teaspoon of salt. And I've just got pink Himalayan salt. You can use any kind of salt you want. And we're going to have, let's see, 5 cups of sugar. There's 1. Two. This is 3. 4. 5. And I've got a little bit of sugar down in there because the thing was wet, so get a little bit of it out with this vinegar. There. Now you're going to need your pectin. And I forgot to get my pectin out. Now I bought the dual pectin, and it says it's for fruit, but you know, that's the kind you get all the time. It's just, it always says it's for fruit, but you can use it for any type of jellies that you make. So I got the value pack, which you get 2. And it says 1.75 ounces of pectin, and this is 2 ounces. But you know what? I'm just going to put the whole package in there. But we're not going to add it quite yet. We're going to bring everything else to a boil here. And I'm going to take my jars out. Oh, let's see. And put them on this towel I've got over here. Oh, I just touched the jar, the canner, and it was a little hot. You want them hot still, but you don't want them so hot they're going to burn your hand. Hot, hot, hot. I got 7 jars, so I had 1 extra. I'm going to get the lids out. There. In the meantime, we're going to get this to going. And we can add a little bit more water to that canner. I try not to make my videos too long, but people want you to show them everything you're doing. And when I show everything I'm doing, you know, it takes time. I mean, you can't just zip through it. So now we're going to mix all this up. We're going to dissolve the sugar. We're going to bring it to a boil before we add our pectin. Oh, and there's a hunk of pepper that I don't want in there. It was like the stem. I don't know how the stem got in there. But we're going to get this stirred, the sugar dissolved. We're going to bring it to a boil and get it all mixed up before we add the pectin. And I'm going to need my little handy dandy, I don't even know what I called it anymore. My funnel. I couldn't find the funnel that I wanted, so I had a plastic one. So I cut off the tip of it to make it the right size to go in my jars to use it like this. And see, I can line my jars up here. I'm not quite ready to start using them yet, but it doesn't hurt to do that. takes a minute or two to bring this to a boil. I think this pepper jelly is going to be hotter than the batch I made last year, because I think I mostly had mild peppers in that. I'm not sure. We'll see how it turns out. But I remember that pepper the peppers when I put them in the processor and ground them all up. They took my breath when I breathed it. They were really hot. But the jelly, the jam, did not turn out hot like that. It was just barely mild, which I liked it because it wasn't hot, but it had the jalapeno taste, and it was really good. I still have some of it from last year, so I'm anxious to see how this batch is going to turn out. I don't have enough peppers this year to make cowboy candy or any of that stuff. You know, I make cowboy candy and cowboy relish usually every year, but I did not have enough peppers growing this year in my garden. None of the hot peppers, the jalapenos. I had a ton of jalapenos last year. Didn't have any jalapenos in the garden. Just the Hungarian hot peppers, the cayenne peppers, and a few other odd and end peppers that were hot. And mostly now bell pepper is my thing this year. I got kind of a big piece of pepper out there. I'll leave it. Probably should have chopped it up a little bit more. Takes a while to get this to a boiling point. Pepper's got my sinuses to running. But yeah, like I said, if you live in an area where you're not growing your own hot peppers, most of your supermarkets will sell some form of a hot pepper. And it doesn't matter what kind of hot peppers you use. You know, any of them will work. And like I said, like I did, you can mix up the different kinds of hot pepper. And even throw in a couple of sweet bell pepper in there. Okay, it's starting to boil now. We're going to boil it for 10 minutes. Put the timer on. I waited till late in the evening to do this because it's not quite as hot. And You know, the sun's gone down, it's cooled off a little bit outside, so therefore it cools off in here a little bit. What I did with the, oh, there it is. I was looking for the blade. It was still in the dishwater. Okay, it's at a rolling boil right now. And it's starting to cook the pepper, so there's a little bit more liquid in the pot now than there was when I first started out. Maybe I can come over here a little closer. Not how this is going to work, but I want you to see what I'm doing. There, you should be able to see my pot, my jars, and what I've got over here. But you can see it's at a rolling boil, and we're just going to let it boil until my timer goes off. And I'm going to get my ladle because that's what I'm going to fill my jars with. I always forget to get stuff that I need. But y'all know that's me, right? I grab stuff at the last minute because I forgot to get it. But see how that looks in the pot? And yep, you guess right, I put seeds and all in there. And we all know the seeds of those hot peppers are the hot part, right? Well, that's what they say. We still got another 6 minutes to go. Well, my timer went off. It's been 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and add my pectin. Stir it in, and then we got to cook it for another, let it boil for another 10 minutes. you got to stir it in good, because if you don't, it'll go to the bottom and that pectin will stick to the bottom. And I didn't set my timer. Set it for like 9 minutes because it's already been boiling for 1. And just remember to stir it while it's boiling for 10 minutes. Alright, it's been boiling for the length of time I needed it, so we're going to turn the burner completely off. We're going to let it sit for about 5 minutes to cool down. I got my timer set for 5 minutes. That way it'll quit boiling, because it's still boiling even though the heat is turned off. I don't know if you can see that, it's still bubbling up in there. And I have the heat completely turned off. We're going to let that cool down just a little bit more. I don't want to scoop out boiling hot liquid. Okay, now what I'm going to do is start ladling my pepper jam in my jars. We're going to leave like a 1/4 head space at the top. I had to make sure I turned the camera back on. Whoops, not too much in that one. I like to put a paper towel under my jars for the little bit that drips down. It makes easier cleanup on your stove. I'm going to get a spoon, I think. I've got a little bit too much in this one, and I can kind of add it over into the other one, I guess. Now I'm going to take my dishcloth and I'm just going to wipe around the top of the rim of the jars to make sure there's nothing on the jar that's going to keep it from sealing. Oh, I'm going to hand tighten these. I don't know if I can get it in the canner without the tongs. Woo. Hot. It's kind of hard to tighten them down when they're hot. They're scalding hot, y'all. And when I get some more of my jars, I'm hoping I can get at least 6, or if not more. I like to fill my jars right up to the rim of where the lid screws down. That gives about a 1/2 inch of head space in the top. I mean, some people may want to put more in there than that. That's up to you. Get this down so I can tilt my pot over a little. I like these size jars for my jellies and jams because I'm one person, and that way I don't have to have so much open at one time because I'm not going to eat it that fast. Now, if you have a larger family, you might want to use pint-sized jars, or, you know, the bigger jars for your jellies and jams, or your chow chow and all that. And just hand tighten them down. Ooh, I can't get hold of that one. This one here to tighten it a little bit more. get another jar of this. Maybe it'd been more than one jar. Now at this point, if you don't want to preserve yours, you know, can them, you can definitely just put the lid on them, tighten them down, and put them in the refrigerator. But, you know, I don't eat that much that fast, so I'm definitely going to can mine. So I can eat them whenever I want. Now I might take that last little bit. Now they're totally submerged in water. Now you can put anywhere from 1/2 inch to 3 inches of water above the top. I find if you just have the top submerged in water, you've got 1/2 inch water on top. That is pretty good. That's sufficient. I'm going to take that last little bit and I'm going to put it in this jar, and I'll be able to eat that pretty, you know, soon. I'm not going to put it in the canner, but I'm going to turn the heat up on the canner, and we're going to boil that for 10 minutes while I get this out. Whew. That's burning my eyes just doing that, y'all. I got a little jar of it. That'll be enough to eat. And I won't have to open one of my can jars anytime soon. But I gotta taste it. That's a little bit hot, y'all. This one's a little bit hot. I think I purposely made the first batch that I made last year. I purposely wanted it to be mild. But I can let this cool down. It will firm up and it'll be ready to eat. But it's got to cool down first and let it set. But yeah, that one there is hot. If you want a hot pepper jelly, this one is hot. My other one was real mild. See, that's easy cleanup. Yeah, but I'm going to let this little jar cool down, and then I'll put it in the refrigerator overnight, and it'll be set by tomorrow, and I can eat pepper jelly on my toast. I don't know if I can handle it that hot. I might wish that I'd put more mild peppers in it instead of the hot ones, because it makes a really good, it has a good flavor to use a lot of the bell pepper, the sweet peppers, and just a little bit of the hot peppers. I use mostly hot peppers in this one. So we're going to boil that for 10 minutes. And I'm going to clean up my mess and we'll be back. Well, the timers went off, so I can turn my canner off. Let it cool down just a tiny bit. And I always forget I've got my canner on the back burner. I need it on the front burner. And it's so heavy. There. That way I don't hit this maybe. And I'm just going to start taking them out. Putting them over here. But I'm glad I washed and sterilized 7 jars, because I filled 7 of these little jars. Whoops, about to drop that one. And it looks kind of liquidy when you first take them out, but that's because they're so hot. That pectin will set up as they cool down. Now I can move this to the back, hopefully. It's a little bit heavy for me to move. But there, I've got 7 of these half-pint jars, plus this little one that I can go ahead and eat. But let's come over here. See there, I got 7 of them with the little one. It's too hot to hold. Maybe lower the camera a little bit. There you go. There's 7 jars. But look at that. You can see the red and the green and the orange and all of that in there. It looks almost like Christmas colors. And like I said, as that cools down overnight, it'll set up and it'll be jelly or jam in the morning. Jelly, actually. It'll be jelly in the morning once they cool down. Whew, it's hot. And they're going to stop pinning, you know. They'll go ping, ping, ping as they seal. This might give you a little bit better view. I don't know. Yep, there you go. So out of that bowl of peppers, I've got 7 jars of pepper jelly, plus this one, which is a 1/4 of a pint. And it's almost full. So, you know, that'll get me started eating pepper jelly. And that'll go a long way because it's pretty hot. So I hope, and you can mix a little bit of this with cream cheese and make a really good dip. That way you can control the heat in your cream cheese when you mix it in. The more you mix in, actually, you know, the hotter it's going to get. So you can judge how hot you want your cream cheese dip to be by adding a little bit of your pepper jelly at a time and mixing it up and then kind of tasting it to see how hot it is. But there you go. It's just that easy to make you some pepper jelly. And the next batch I make is going to be a more milder one because myself, I don't like it really hot. And this one is a hot one. So this is probably going to be enough for me of the hot one. I love it if it's the milder one. You know, it's just got a little bit of heat to it, not much. But you have the pepper taste in the jelly, a little bit of the heat, not much. And it makes a good jelly to me, a pepper jelly. So there you go. Control your heat. Control, how the heat of your pepper jelly by what you add to it, whether you put half sweet peppers, half hot peppers, or maybe 3/4 sweet peppers, 1/4 hot pepper. Will even make a milder pepper jelly. So you're in control of that. So you can, control the heat of your jelly to suit yourself. So I hope y'all learned something from that. I hope you'll try to make you some pepper jelly because it's real easy. It takes a little bit of time, and like I said, you don't have to grow peppers in your garden to do this. You can buy a pound of jalapenos, or you can buy half a pound of jalapenos and maybe a 4 or 5 bell pepper and chop them up and make you some milder pepper jelly. So with that, I'm going to wish y'all a good day. I really like the fact that you spend this time with me watching my videos. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you learn something from them. And I'll see you on the next one. Love y'all. Bye now.